Hello, everybody. Drew here for Drew Entertainment, back with another live stream here on the channel. Obviously, as you guys see by the title, mute that. Obviously, like I was saying, as you guys see by the title, this is the first of Is It Worth It for the Entertainment channel. This series has already existed on the gaming channel for Drew Games for a long time. I just haven't done one in a long time. Not since the spring for gaming side of things. Obviously, here to talk about episode 1 for the Book of Boba Fett, which came out yesterday, which I watched just this morning when I got home from work. I will say this about the Book of Boba Fett. I went in with low to no expectations altogether, and it did exceed my expectations. Long story short, this is not an easy question to answer. Is it worth it, the Book of Boba Fett? Hopefully, I will find a way to do that throughout this stream. But going into it, like I said, I had low to no expectations. I was not expecting anything good to come from it. I wasn't expecting it to be any better than The Mandalorian, which, as it turns out, I was right. It's on par for season 1 of The Mandalorian, if not a little behind, maybe a little ahead. It's hard to really gauge it, but with that in mind, the question of is it worth it to watch it, though, that depends on who's asking, at least in my opinion. Because if someone like Gary or Jeremy, hey Chunk, if somebody like Jeremy or Gary, someone who sees Star Wars as dead to them, they're not going back because of how raped and pillaged effectively it has been by Disney and Lucasfilm, then the answer is going to be no. It's not going to be worth it to Jeremy or Gary from Geeks and Gamers. Or, sorry, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers or Gary from Nerdrotic. If it's someone who has been in and out on Star Wars for quite some time like me, it's a soft yes. It might be worth it for someone who's been in and out of Star Wars. If you've just been watching Star Wars and appreciating it as best you can, then yes, obviously The Mandalorian's episode 1 is going to be worth it for you. Yeah. So, with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, episode 1 of The Mandalorian, without spoiling too much, even though there is one thing I can say that I don't think is a spoiler, but I'll get to it in a minute. On a scale of 1 to 10 for episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett, I would say probably a 5 to a 6 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned, which makes it a soft yes for is it worth it? A very soft yes. Because, like I said, it depends on who's asking. If it's someone from the community who Star Wars is dead to them and they are not concerned about it, then it's going to be an obvious no for them. That they're not going to find any interest in the Book of Boba Fett whatsoever. But if you liked the first season of The Mandalorian, then you will like this so far after the first episode, at least in my opinion. Because, well, it's no secret from The Mandalorian, if you watched it, that we saw Boba Fett in that without his armor, and he got it back. At the start of the Book of Boba Fett, we find out how he loses his armor, how he survived the Snarlack pit, and whatnot, without saying exactly how, for spoiler purposes, and without saying exactly how, they did make Boba Fett look look like a complete badass in it, which is very important. So, on that note, I see episode 1 as not a failure, but not a needle mover either. It's just there. It's just Star Wars content to enjoy for what it is. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just there. Hence why I said 5 to a 6 out of 10. It's just there. And you can take that for what it's worth. I think that's all I can really say for the Book of Boba Fett at this point. Got anything to ask Joshi about anything? Because I'll answer any other question about it at this point, because that's all my real opinion is without spoiling too much of it. Boba Fett looks like a badass. We find out how he loses his armor. Oh, and that's another thought. Apparently, the Book of Boba Fett is effectively like a prequel to The Mandalorian. So there's that too. But obviously you could probably guess that from the fact that we see him lose his armor and then in The Mandalorian he finds it again. So take that for what it's worth. Otherwise, I don't have really much else to say about it. So if there's nothing from the chat, then I think this pretty much covers everything at this point. So all I'm going to be doing is killing time until it reaches 10 minutes and then calling it at that point if there's nothing from the chat at this point. So again, like I said, is the Book of Boba Fett worth it? It's worth subscribing to Disney Plus until it's over. At least if the first episode is any indication, because based on how the first episode went, I am casually interested in watching the second one, if for no other reason to. You said Rhino's or you saw Rhino's review yesterday, and he said it's very disappointing. Like I said, it will not move the needle for Star Wars fans in any way, shape, or form. The best part about it was, in the end, they made Boba Fett look like a badass in it. When the episode was said and done, so. And they had to build up to it, so. I don't like how they build up. I don't like the build-up that they chose to make him look like a badass, but in the end, they made him look like a badass, which was the ultimate goal that you needed to achieve with the series, to make him look like a badass. Where they go with episode 2 is anyone's fucking guess, but episode 1 was not terrible in my opinion. Was I disappointed with it? Well, not really, because I went in expecting to be completely disappointed, which I wasn't completely disappointed, because I left it going, well, that was better than I was expecting, because I was expecting to hate it, and I don't hate it. So if Rhino and I are on opposite ends, hey, that does not matter. I respect his opinion, like I hope he would respect mine, but who knows with some people, so. But with that in mind, I suspect most of the Star Wars community is going to go, well, that was really shitty. And I can see their point. Because like I said, there's a couple of things that I can nitpick at it that I really don't like. And then other things a few things in it that I did really like that I saw in it too. So But in comparison to, for example, the prequels, nothing Disney has done compares to even the prequels, all right? And this is no different. This cannot even compare to the prequels. So, and that's probably saying something. The worst of George Lucas is still better than anything that Disney puts out, including episode 1 of The Mandalorian. Because, like I said, I'm not saying I love it. I'm not saying I'm a huge raving fan of it, but episode 1 did its job. It has me slightly interested in watching episode 2 now. For the sake of continuing this, I'm obviously going to watch it anyway, episode 2, so I can tell you if episode 2 is continuing the average to slightly below average rating of the series so far for the Book of Boba Fett. I did also watch right before this Yellow Flash's thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett as well. Even though he said that he didn't watch it, he was just reporting on that there was no hype going into it, and rightly so. I thought it was going to be an abstract disaster. It's no disaster, but it's one step above that. Which, so. So with that in mind, there's a third person here now. So like I said earlier, is the question that this series asks, is it worth it? Is the Book of Boba Fett worth it after the first episode? The first episode did get me to consider and actually borderline want to watch episode 2, if for no other reason than that. I'm going to do it so I can get on here right after episode 2 next week and do this again this time next week. So effectively, until the Book of Boba Fett is over, you're going to be finding me here on Wednesdays or Thursdays talking about the Book of Boba Fett, depending on when I can get to watching the next episode. So, but with all of that in mind, if you are watching this after the fact, thank you for doing so. Hit the like button, subscribe to see this again next week for episode 2 of Is It Worth It, episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, and also for my reactions to music videos like from Tom McDonald, and also Breaking Rocks, which will be coming back next week at some point in the first week of January. Also, tomorrow, there will be the Drew Game Awards live on the YouTube channel of Drew Games tomorrow at about the same time as this stream here at noon tomorrow. Joining me for that will be Joshi and my younger brother, Desert Nord, and possibly some other special guests from the Xbox Live family from the community. Who I don't know. We'll see who feels like popping in. So, with all of that in mind, I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts and my opinion and my experience as I shared with you on episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett from Disney Plus and Lucasfilm and Disney. Either way, Disney and Lucasfilm can go fuck an iceberg for all I care, but it is what it is. Can't wait for Drew Game Awards. Thank you, Chunk. Yep. Which, to remind you guys, the pre-show for that was done on Monday on this very channel of Drew Entertainment, which was the last stream of Chris, i.e. CD, who retired from the channel, which Chunk the Punk is now joining our team on a part-time basis for certain things here and there on the PlayStation side on Drew Games, and for whatever he does wind up watching here on Drew Entertainment in terms of shows and movies as well, if the situation calls for it. But with all that in mind, again, to remind you guys from the pre-show for the Drew Game Awards, Jade Shadow, i.e. Jade Fire, i.e. Mara Jade, is in fact Streamer of the Year. And that was the big award that we revealed on the pre-show back on Monday here on this channel. And to reiterate, the main Drew Dat Game Awards will be on Drew Dat Games tomorrow. So, with all of that in mind, today I will be live on Twitch playing some Dragon Age Origins since it is Thursday, so that's Arcade Thursday at this point. And Arcade Thursday basically means older games, like 360 games or original Xbox games at that point. So, yeah, so Dragon Age Origins today. Tomorrow, if I have the energy. Oh, wait, that would be Free Play Friday coming back. And that has to wait till January, so no Twitch stream tomorrow, just the Drew Dat Game Awards tomorrow. Saturday, we'll be continuing one of the Drew Plays of Skyrim. Sunday, Assassin's Creed. That being Valhalla that I'm working through. And then Monday is Marvel games, so if it's on Xbox, it's going to be on Twitch, which would be Guardians of the Galaxy, or if it's on PlayStation, that would be on YouTube, that being probably Marvel Spider-Man. I've not decided what that's going to be, but I will know that by Saturday at the latest. So, on what I decide doing on Monday. Tuesday will be something from the backlog. What, I don't know yet. Because you guys saw the backlog. If you guys want to see me playing something from the backlog, because you guys saw my backlog, just name it. And then I will start doing that for Tuesday streams on YouTube or Twitch, respectively. Wednesdays, Witcher, and then back to Thursdays for Arcade Thursday. So, with all of that in mind, I'm Andrew. This is Drew Dat Entertainment. This was the first stream in the series for the entertainment channel of Is It Worth It? I got to bring this back for the gaming channel because I haven't done this since the spring on the gaming channel for games. So with that in mind, yeah, I got to really start doing that soon. I'm gonna commit to that starting next week more. Well, as soon as the first game comes out for 2022, at least. So what game that is, I don't remember. I'll have to look into it and let you guys know what the first game that I'll be covering in 2022 is at that point. But with all that in mind, guys, hit the like, subscribe for this. Go follow the Twitch channel for me playing Xbox games like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Guardians of the Galaxy, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Skyrim plays, and all things Xbox. And then go subscribe to Drew Dat Games for the PlayStation side of things. And also similar things like this. I said hit the like button, don't put it in the chat. But thank you for putting it in the chat anyway, Chunk. But, yeah. Drew Dat Games on YouTube for gaming versions of like this here for Is It Worth It? The Drew Dat Games podcast. And things of that nature. And, yeah, and things like that. So with that in mind, I'm not surprised, Chuck. With that in mind, I will see you guys tomorrow on the YouTube channel Drew Dat Games, the Drew Dat Game Awards starting at noon, hosted by myself, Desert Nord and Joshi, with potential special guest, maybe Gaming or What might be popping in, but don't bet on it, because I'm not going to. But if he wants to pop in, he's always welcome. As is anyone who was on the Xbox side, because the Xbox team will be hosting it. And I do believe Chunk the Punk will be covering the chat for bots for us, as always. And yeah, I look forward to doing that tomorrow to finally getting the Drew Dat Game Awards for 2021 out of the way. I just spit a little there for some fucking reason. And I will see you all then. Have yourself a great rest of your day. May the force be with us always. The Book of Boba Fett is average at best. Solo lost money. Raylos are weird. Fuck Naughty Dog. And to anyone who comes into the community with hate, I've only one request for you. Go fuck an iceberg. Later.